Yo fam, what is up? You are back for another video with DataZero. In this video, we're looking at AMC, GME, SPY, Bitcoin, and cryptocurrency. This is your daily outlook and prediction for stocks and crypto. This video is not financial advice, should not be taken as such. Please do your own research and due diligence before buying any stock or crypto asset. Now, with that being said, let's go and hop in the charts, facts, data showing you what's going on for today. Now, we're going to be looking at AMC and GME first, breaking this down on what I'm expecting here. But I want to show you guys a few things that is going on now. Again, don't get too hyped. Don't get too crazy. But we are seeing some unusual things. So, first day of the, first of all, possible gamma ramp. All right, we have a possible gamma ramp. Every 50 cents, GME moves up. More and more calls go into money. And this is the week of the June 20th expiration date. We've been waiting for this. Huge amount of calls. Strike prices as high as 125. Why is this? Money, people are spending good money on this, okay? So this is not just for no reason. This is here for a reason, but what could it be? Now, it definitely is a gamma ramp. If we start to move up this thing, more and more calls will go in the money. So the higher GME goes, the better for us. And again, remember, this is a short week. The market is closed Thursday, so things are crunched even tighter. Now, we're also seeing fails to deliver start to pick back up, okay? Last time the fails to deliver picked up, we had this big rally up where we rallied to about $37. And then also we see this big spike here where FTDs pick up. You can see price obviously squeezed here. The yellow line is price, and then the white bars are FTDs. And then you guys can see here when we got this light group of FTDs, we had this rally here. FTDs clearly correlate with upwards action, and FTDs are starting to return. Now, nothing crazy, but we are seeing decent numbers here, as you guys can see, up past 400K, and we haven't really been there since that big move to the upside that happened on 5/3 in 2024. Again, this was the latest squeeze that GME had. I don't care what people said. This is a squeeze. Some shorts covered. We actually have proof of that. Citron Research said they're not going to be shorting anymore. So shorts did get squeezed here. Some firms did get squeezed here from this move to $9.95 all the way to $64. And that's why we saw that move in after hours as well, because that was some shorts covering their short position. So we had this big move to the upside when the FTDs got crazy. Also, the cost to borrow went higher as well. So we can see fails to deliver are as high as that time. They were a little bit higher there as well, but we haven't been this high since then. And then also cost to borrow has now spiked to the upside as well. So we have the options chain, cost to borrow, and FTDs all together showing that potentially something could happen here. Again, when cost to borrow goes up, price goes up. I've showed you guys that consecutively again, and then also during that 5/3, 5/18 rally, you guys can see that cost to borrow also spiked up there as well, going as high as 22%, but it started out around that 2 to 3% level, and that's where we're at right now. So if cost to borrow continues to go higher, this is going to be a very bullish sign as well. I'm going to be watching cost to borrow closely, and you guys can just like and subscribe as I talk about cost to borrow for the meme stocks every single day. AMC cost to borrow starting to trend up as well. Cost to borrow is at 0.65%. Right now, at time of recording, they have 4.1 million short shares for AMC, and at time of recording, they have 2.3 million short shares for GME. So this is what we're looking at as far as data-wise. Again, it is interesting to see that there's this possible gamma ramp here. FTDs are picking up and cost to borrow is picking up. These are all bullish signs in my personal opinion. Now, as far as the technicals are concerned, you can also see that we have this gap filled to the upside on the daily time frame. This gap's going to get filled. I told you guys price is going to return back inside of the bands here on the daily time frame. You guys can see that's exactly what's happening right now, as we were outside of the band, so we are now returning back into those bands. I think price is easily going to come up to like this $24 to $28 level as we come and fill this gap, and this gap's most likely going to get filled this week. And if this gap does get filled this week, that's going to give us the momentum that we need to potentially get that gamma ramp. So I'm very, very, very excited and interesting to see what does happen this week. Is it going to be a nothing burger? We also have OPEX as well. And during these OPEX with the short weeks, the meme stocks have been known to explode, and they can literally explode at any time. So be prepared for literally anything, ladies and gentlemen. I will be live, so put that bell notification on. That way you know when I go live. I stream every single day. Now, as far as what we could see for tomorrow, I'm seeing bullish continuation in my personal opinion. So this looks good. We basically pushed up, nice 5% day today, and then we consolidated. That's perfect. We made this bullish pennant, and then we broke out of it and retested it several times here during the end of the day. So this will continue in tomorrow, and I think what we're going to do is hold 23.15 as support, which is the level I told you I want to see us stay above. And then I think we're going to move to 23.50. If we can break above and hold 23.50, GME should start to move more rapidly, and we could see a decent push up to about $25. And again, that's where the gap fill starts. It starts a little bit lower than that, but that's in between the gap fill, so we could see a continuation even higher. Now, we did make a gap fill to the downside, so we do want to be aware of that. It's to 22.40 to 22.35. So that is one thing that we do have to keep on our radar. But basically what I'm thinking is we're going to confirm 23.15 as support tomorrow in the morning. And then we're going to push up to 23.50. And if we can break and hold 23.50, then we should see even more upside from that level. So this is what I'm looking at for GME. As far as AMC is concerned, AMC I want to see get back above 315. Now we are above it here in after hours. They kind of pushed it down here at the end of the day, shorting on AMC. I think we will be able to get back above and hold this 315 level. In fact, I think that's what we're going to do tomorrow, is most likely confirm that 315 level as support. And if we are able to do that, then we can move up to our next support and resistance, which is at 319. If we're able to hold 319 and use that level of support, then AMC, similar to GME, has a gap fill setup to the upside. So AMC could see a movement to the upside as well. AMC's gap fill starts at 325 and goes to 328. Just like GME as well, AMC also has some unusual options activity for this week. Expiring this week, you guys can see a mountain of calls and only a tiny bit of puts. And you guys can see they're actually buying $5, $5.50, and $7 calls right now, as there has been 100% change here in the volume. So that means people are actively buying those strike prices. So again, people are spending good money on these call options. We want to see why that is. Are they hedging for a potential move? Are they trying to hide short interest? I don't know, but we could see movement to the upside if we do start to move up, and that movement could be amplified by the gamma ramp. So this is bullish in my personal opinion. Now, as far as the FTDs for AMC, I'm not seeing the same thing as I am for GME, and also I'm not seeing the same thing for the cost to borrow. But just like last time, once GME started to run, AMC ran with it. As you guys can see during that 5-3 time, AMC also made a nice pop to the upside as well, running about 400%. So I think AMC and GME will run together, and I think tomorrow we should see even more recovery, giving us that green week that I talked about on the weekly outlook prediction. So this is what I'm looking at for AMC and GME. Let's go ahead and move into SPY and the overall stock market, and I'll show you guys what's going on here, and then we'll move into BTC and crypto. So NASDAQ filled the gap fill to the upside. I told you guys that was the one thing I was worried about. There was a gap fill to the upside. NASDAQ filled that. NASDAQ is also working on the final retest of the rising wedge, I do believe, and I believe it's actually starting to break down out of that. So you could see a little bit more upside tomorrow, but basically this is confirming what I'm saying, and we're definitely going to see a red week in my personal opinion, and this is giving me even more confirmation. The fact that we came up and did this pop to the upside, this is basically going to be a bull trap, and I know people are getting extremely bullish, but they don't see this massive rising wedge here. They didn't know about the gap fill to the upside, and they don't know about the multiple gap fills to the downside. So that's why you want to like and subscribe. That way you can get the technical facts and data that you need to, so you can be a successful trader. Now you guys can see we are currently starting to break down out of that rising wedge. We could see like one more little pop to the upside. This is NASDAQ. NASDAQ is what's going to be leading the market, but basically after we do come up a little bit more, which I think we are, I think we're going to see pullback. So I think SPY is actually going to come up and probably retest like 603 or 604. And then from there, reject down. Again, we do have a short week, but I'm expecting most of the bearishness to come after Wednesday. I told you potentially Monday and Tuesday bullish, similar to last week, and then Wednesday, obviously not Thursday because the market's closed, and Friday we could potentially see bearishness. So again, this is what I'm looking at. Also, we do have a lot of things going on. Tomorrow, retail sales month of month comes out. That's going to be at 8:30. But the biggest thing is obviously Fed interest rate decision, FOMC, Fed press conference, and this is all happening on Wednesday, plus housing starts and building permits. We also have OPEX this week as as well. So things are jam-packed, and this week is jam-packed. I think rates will remain the same, in my personal opinion. If you were to see rates get raised, you could see the market dump, and if you were to see rates get lowered, you could see the market pump, but I don't think that is going to be the case. So this is what we're looking at for SPY in the overall market. I think we're going to see a little bit of push to the upside here in the morning, but I think ultimately we're going to be rejecting down. Now, if SPY does lose the key level of 602.60, this is the level you need to keep in your mind, because if we cannot get back above that, SPY is going to continue down towards 694 cents. And if SPY goes and breaks below 694 cents and uses that as resistance, you're going to see a big move down. There's a gap fill right underneath it. It's also a major level of support and resistance. So if lost, you will see a dump down, and that is the level I'm looking to see when SPY really will start to dump. Okay, so again, if we lose 602.60, that's going to mean downside, and if we head to 694 and lose that, that's going to mean dumpage. I do think we are going to see some decent downside this week, in my personal opinion, but it's going to be in the later half of the week. I think we might see a little bit more recovery to the upside, but possibly a lower high, so a lower high than this high here, and that's going to lead to overall downtrend. Again, tomorrow could be a little bit more bullish, but I think we're going to see downside in the later half of the week. This is what I'm looking at for SPY in the overall market. Again, remember, there are some tensions going on here in the Middle East, so just keep that on your radar, as the United States is directly related with Israel. So if Israel gets drawn in the conflict, the United States could get drawn in the conflict, and Trump has stated that he will be supporting it. I'm reporting about it, so you guys can go ahead and like and subscribe to get that information. Now let's go ahead and go to BTC and crypto and show you guys what's going on there, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap up this video. So Bitcoin is looking extremely good, ladies and gentlemen. Not only is Bitcoin tracking with our overall fractal, I showed you guys this fractal several times, but Bitcoin, it made a decent push to the upside today. Now, Bitcoin, if it can break 109.5, that means a new all-time high is coming here for BTC, and let me explain why that is. So that's basically the last major support and resistance before we go into not price discovery mode, because we have been a little bit higher, but it's the last major support and resistance that we need to break above before seeing a decent pop to the upside. Now, this fractal shows us here that we are going to possibly be building a floor above 95 to 100K, and I believe during this process, this is when altcoin season is going to come. I keep saying this in every single video. That way you guys can understand the macro and understand where I'm at on things. Now, the fractal says we could see one more pop to the upside, getting that 115 possible price target, but then we'll see a drawdown before one more big pop to the upside, and that could possibly give us our 125 price target. I think the 115 price target will come soon if we're able to break and hold 109.5K. If we are able to hold that, then 15K should be on the cards. Then we could see a potential drawdown, but basically this is going to be an overall consolidation above 100 to 95K. You guys can actually see there's buy orders here at like 108 and at 100K, 90K. So basically all the way from 108 all the way down to 100K and then 90K, there's buy orders. So we have a floor for BTC around 90 to 100K. I believe this is going to remain the floor, and this is what's going to bring in altcoin season. Again, I explained on the weekly outlook and prediction right now, Bitcoin dominance is way too high for it to be altcoin season. So when Bitcoin pumps, altcoins will dump. When Bitcoin dumps, altcoins will dump even harder. So again, Bitcoin's going to be controlling the market. Now, if we do see Bitcoin dominance go down, that is what could lead into an altcoin season, and we could see things like Ethereum really start to move, XRP, Cardano, ADA. Again, it looks like the crypto coins, altcoins are setting up for a potential move. Again, XRP has a massive rising or falling wedge here. So if you go ahead and check out XRP, XRP has a massive falling wedge, which could easily lead it to a new all-time high, and we have this bullish pennant as well. We have a huge falling wedge here on Cardano ADA, which could see ADA push up to about 125, 150. And then, of course, on Ethereum as well, we have this macro accumulation where if Ethereum can break over about 3,000 to 3,500 and hold that level, you could see a nasty push up to a brand new all-time high here for ETH. if it was able to get back up to those levels and hold those levels. Right now, it's building a floor at like 2.5, 2.6, and I believe this is basically an accumulation range where we're about to see the altcoins push up. But we need to see Bitcoin consolidate a little bit more, possibly make a new all-time high towards that 15 or 125 price target, and then that's going to bring in that euphoria, that altcoin season, especially as Bitcoin continues to consolidate. And again, we've seen this before in previous bull runs. We didn't really get the crazy altcoin season until here and here in the last major bull run that we had. So that's what I'm expecting for this bull run. We have this big move up, then we will consolidate, and as we are consolidating, that's when we'll get the altcoin season. So this is what I'm looking at for crypto altcoins. Let me know some altcoins you guys would like to see me cover in the comments down below. But you guys can see across the board, XRP up 6.5%, Link up 6.4%, HBAR up 3.7%. So we're seeing gains across the board. Algorand up 4.8%, and that is because Bitcoin is pumping. This was your daily outlook and prediction for stocks and crypto. I do have a merch store if you guys want to check that out, and a Discord as well. Discord is $100 for a lifetime invite. Information linked down below if you want information on the Discord, exclusive technicals information, and plays as well. If you want to join that community, go ahead and hit me up. I appreciate it if you watch the end of the video, because so people watch the end and it helps me out immensely. And as always, y'all, have fun, stay safe, make money. Peace out. And please like, subscribe, and share if you want to help the channel. Peace, fam.